Good. All right, here we go. Here is Matt Getz.
But Matt, Iran has kicked out IAEA inspectors. There could be portions of their nuclear program that are secret. A nuclear secret in the Middle East. How about it? If the world is interested in a secret nuclear program in the Middle East, there is a country that won't allow any international inspectors. Israel. Israel has a nuclear weapon. Did you know that? I do. They allow no inspections. They are fully secretive and clandestine about it, and the Americans are fully aware. You know what? I don't even blame Israel for this. If they want to develop a nuclear weapon, if they had the blessing to do so secretly, I'm not in judgment of that. But to drag the world into a regime change war over secret nuclear weapons, when you have secret nuclear weapons, is a bit hypocritical. So here's the deal. How about Iran and Israel both give up their secret nuclear weapon programs? If Trump got that deal, he wouldn't only get the Nobel Peace Prize, they'd probably name it the Trump Peace Prize forevermore. And it's not that crazy to think about Israel denuclearizing. Look at the model in South Africa. South Africa denuclearized right before they stopped being an apartheid state. Prominent voices in Israel and America have called for Trump to recognize Israel's sovereignty over Judea and Samaria, which some people call the West Bank. If that happens, Israel will have to let the 5 to 6 million people who live there vote. And they don't want to do that. I'm not calling Israel an apartheid state. Right now, I don't think they are. But if they are ruling the West Bank, as the neocons would suggest, then the South Africa model for denuclearization is not totally off base. There's a certain bravado at the beginning of a Middle East regime change war. There's enthusiasm, bold predictions of swift victory, and usually a total misunderstanding of what happens next. Oh, Iraq wasn't prepared. Daisy cutter? This is how easily the so-called foreign policy experts believed we would carve our way through Iraq. I saw how many of our bravest patriots were pushing up daisies as a consequence of that war. I went to their funerals. I visited their grave sites. I saw the true cost of a flawed regime change war in the Middle East. The problem is we had no plan to get out. Iraq cost America $3 trillion, and this distraction and disaster aided in both the rise of China and ISIS. Whoever was telling you that we had the ability to topple a regime in Iraq and then come out with something better was either one, lying to you, or two, so wholly ignorant about the country they were invading that their lack of knowledge or curiosity or understanding led to blood and terrorism and chaos. So as we approach the 2025 vintage of regime change wars in Iran, I wonder if those now cheerleading attacks on Iran know anything about the country they want to topple. But Matt,
Hey, first of all, Getz, you see that background, brother? What is that background? What city is that?
That's San Diego. I see.
Boom.
I know that skyline, brother. That's Tool
Oh, yeah.
City.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The 619 right there, buddy boy. Yeah.
619 area code. Yep.
Matt
Yep.
gets hit the nail in on the hit. And if there's someone that can bring about that deal, Trump would be the man to do it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, not only that, when he was talking about Iraq and everything that took place, not only that, did we find any nuclear weapons evidence in that war in Iraq, brother?
No, where were they? It
Nothing.
was faulty intelligence. The whole thing was a trap.
Yeah.
It was a trap for Bush. They gave him false intelligence, drew him into the war, and then destroyed his presidency.
Yep.
And it was
Absolutely.
all about.
He
It was
fell for
all
it.
designed to do that. What's that?
He fell for it. He would just give him bad advice, and whoever tried to advise him otherwise, I saw a documentary on it, because the majority that ruled it over him making a decision got in his head a lot, and the ones that said, no, 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 wait a minute, the evidence does not point to that, they were completely ignored. And he kind of went with the majority, and look at what happened.
Yeah, because there are snakes and serpents in Washington, D.C. that will bring down presidents.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Another praise scene at another government building. Christians
Mm.
are showing up and praising God in all these government buildings. It's a wonderful thing to see. Move
Amen.
down a little bit. Let's see if we can move down because there's more. Um, always like Alex Jones. He's interesting, but he really gets involved.
He
Um,
does. You know what? You brought him up. I saved
yeah,
a video. I mean, switching a little bit of gear here, but he brought out a video. It says the FBI has officially confirmed that the 2020 election was stolen. And again, there's
right.
really good hard evidence that he brought up in the video that says, it was all the Chinese the Communist Party was involved, and they show evidence, and it's like, oh my goodness, something to really ponder and consider because it's pretty telling.
Right. Yeah, that and here he's saying that okay, hold up. I'm gonna get this guy in a
Okay.
moment. But here he's also saying that Iran now is saying they want to negotiate with Trump, and Trump is giving 2 weeks to consider that possibility. So he's halting everything for 2 weeks and saying, I'm gonna take a look at this possibility of negotiation with Iran, I mean.
Mhm.
Their top leadership may have been taken out. And so
Mhm.
there might be elements underneath that top leadership that would be rather negotiate and get along with the United States than be call them the great Satan and all that. Now, when it comes to the parade that we just had, the Army parade,
Uh-huh. Right.
the 250th anniversary,
Right.
I'm going to blow your mind. Listen to what this guy says. Now, you're going to have to click the first video and then
Okay.
click the second video.
Okay. Sounds good. Here, let me do this so we can separate them both. And let's start. You see the guy's face? Can you see it on your end?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
here we
yeah.
go.
It's clear
Oh,
So I want to comment a little bit about
sound.
the parade,
no sound?
It's
and
good.
and tell you what I saw. So there are a few things. I actually called my nephew. He's a retired Army, and as soon as I asked him if he saw anything weird, he said the same thing, and I was like, huh, "That's funny. That's exactly what I saw." So here's what I saw. Number one, I saw the parade as not a show of force.
Hmm.
I saw the parade as a process of expression for the American Grand Military. Now remember, only the Grand Military can operate inside America. Okay, that's why there's Grand Army Plaza up in Brooklyn, right? So the Grand Army Plaza, where the Grand Army was parked, and the Grand Army or the Grand Military in grand jurisdiction has now walked across the bridge into the nation, reclaiming the District of America. The military forces in the cities are there to protect the federal buildings, the same way that they were protecting the federal buildings by being housed in the federal buildings in the Trump inauguration. So what I saw was process, procedure. That's what I saw.
Okay.
Now go to the second video. And we'll bring up the second video. Now this
I
gets real
saw that it was
interesting.
not.
The same one? Oh.
Go for it.
I saw process. I saw that it was not a show of force.
Oh, my
I
apologies.
saw that it was not a show of force. I saw that the troops were not practiced up and everything. I saw the troops that had been exiled or declared shipwrecked or sick or injured as of 1949 in the Red Cross Convention, returning to their nation and returning as the Grand Military. That's what I saw. And there are a couple key things. Number one, they went through all the different sets of veterans that there are. Number two, because the Grand Army, like grandparent, the seasoned are the veterans. That's the Grand. You got to have the militia with you. Those are the veterans. Okay? Number two, everything was green. Everything was green because they're returning to the natural land, and their color in natural is green. That's why you used to get pickled, because everything was green. You got your greens. You were pickled. You started out a rainbow, right? Because everyone was in different color clothing, and then you became pickled. You were green. You were greens. Okay? Even the tanks were painted green. All the equipment was painted green. That is a natural. Green is the natural color of the grass and the trees and the leaves. And that's what I saw. And there was a swearing in. Isn't that funny? There was a swearing in. When you go to MEPS, you get sworn in at MEPS. Then you go to your base for like basic training, right? You go to basic training. And you're sworn in before that. So that's like you're sworn in, and you get there as a rainbow, and then you get pickled, and then you now have your uniform, and that's it. You don't put on a uniform and get sworn in again. That's not how that works. So this is all procedural. This is all process. This is all formality of ceremony. It wasn't a show of force. It was a show that the land forces have returned. That's what I saw. The land forces have returned.
Wow. That was pretty good.
Let me explain. I am a veteran. Let me explain. The reason people say, well, they're not marching, they're not looking sharp. Well, there's a reason for that. They were representing the veterans returning home from war.
Yeah.
And that's the reason they were stagger stepping, is because these veterans were returning home from war, wounded, tore up, and they're stagger stepping off of their wounds from war and all of that back into the country, right? Now, when he's talking about this transition that it's representing, or it's processing, is that our military, what he's saying is our military is going from being a military controlled by the globalist oligarchs, the British Empire, if you will, that has controlled our government for a long time, since remember the War of 1812?
Yeah.
We won the physical battles, but we lost the war in that there's been treaties made with the UK. There were things that were done that kind of put us under the crown to a certain degree. And they have pushed, there was a report of Margaret Thatcher one time showing up and telling ordering George Bush to a certain location and saying, here's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Giving him orders. Okay. Because what's the fascination with the royalty of the United Kingdom of Britain in America?
Right.
We never truly left the crown. And what he's saying is, what Trump is doing is he's taking down the power of the British Empire, the crown, is taking that down over the United States. In other words, they're not going to have authority or power over us anymore. So the United States Army is going from being the globalist controlled army that's gone through all of these endless wars back to being a if you will, like a continental army that now is not controlled by the globalists anymore. They're now controlled by the people of America and the nation. And a
Mm,
crossing of the bridge is symbolizing that they're leaving the globalist control and coming back into nationalist control. And they're marching in after all of those horrible global wars that the globalists had pushed on us. And they're coming back and they're saying, we're done with the globalists. We're wounded. We're tired. We've been tore up and we're coming back home to America.
mm.
And that's what's happening. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible thing. It really is. And so that's the reason why the parade was done the way it was done, is that's the message that Trump was sending to the nation.
Yeah.
They're back home now. And the Grand Army being the veterans, they're the ones that fought the global wars.
Mm. See, it's good
And they're
to
not,
hear perspective from those that have been in the military because, I'm sure not only him, there's a lot military men and women that probably saw this right away, figured it out right away. And for those of us that have never, gone through the military or anything like that, we quite don't understand, right? Some of these things,
right.
only if you so,
When
but
he
it's
was,
good. It's good to hear from you guys and give us a breakdown of what exactly it represented, So man, that was pretty interesting. Now I really want to go back and see the entire festival itself just to get a picture of what you were talking
get a
about
new
now.
perspective.
Get a new
Yeah, get a new
perspective.
perspective. And he talked about the different types of veterans. Well, that's the
Hmm.
World War II veterans, World War One veterans, the Korean veterans, Vietnam veterans,
Right.
Grenada, Cold War veterans. I was a Cold War veteran, a veteran on the War on Terror. I was a veteran on the War on Terror. I mean, all that's the different types of veterans
Yeah.
because they were all used by the globalist oligarch empire um, to go and fight these wars.
Yeah.
And so we were the world's enforcer
Hmm. Right.
as the globalists determined it. The city of London, not London City, but this 1 mile square area inside of London called the City of London, where the oligarchs they own all of that, and they basically control the world from there with their policies and pushing their agendas through the banks and through the power of the banks and all of that. That's
Hmm.
why the Federal Reserve needs to be taken down.
Yeah.
Um, they they're the ones that pushed us into all these wars.
That's right.
And now Trump is saying, you're done. Our military's coming back home. You're done. No more global wars. No more endless wars. We're not doing it anymore. See, right now, these same idiot globalist oligarchs, I can't stand those people. I'm supposed to love my enemies, but they're hard to love. Um, they're trying to push us into another war in Iran.
Yeah.
Listen,
Absolutely.
listen to the neocons
Yeah.
in our own government. Oh, we got to hit ground troops. We got Lindsey Graham and then you got others. I can't think of all the names, but anyway, they're
Yeah.
all pushing for it.
Hmm.
And Trump is saying, no, 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 no. Our military's come home. They're not doing that anymore. You want somebody to do that? Find somebody else. We're not doing it. We're
Right.
done.
Right.
America's war weary. We're so sick and tired of these wars. So sick and tired of
The
them.
strain that it brings upon the nation, brother, is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
So,
it is. And Trump's saying, we're done.
yeah,
No more. We're not doing it. We're not doing it.
I do see that you posted that particular Trump making progress with Iran and potentially meet with them in the White House. Good news. So, yeah, that is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, if one can bring peace, and bring people together, it's Trump. The Democrats would say otherwise. Let me clear that up because they hate the man, right? But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So things are looking good. things were looking up. And by the way, the communist uprising on Saturday was completely a bust.
Oh, it was a bust, bro. I mean, have you heard anything this week about the protest last
Yeah,
week? Just replay on
a,
what
a,
transpired two
bu-
weeks ago. So, looking at the numbers,
a
bro,
bunch of
in
people.
San Diego, they calculated about 20,000 plus people showed up. So I was, let's break down numbers. The population in San Diego, 3.5, 3.6 million, right?
Yep, yep. Well,
20% of that,
are you talking about the county or the city? The
well,
whole
it's
county?
the whole county. Absolutely.
It's 3 million in the county,
Yeah,
about
3
1.5.
3.5. Yeah, 3.5, 3.6.
Yeah, yep.
20. So let's say 20,000 came to protest from the county, downtown San Diego, right? By the bay.
Mhm.
So calculating, 'cause I kind of like math. I like numbers. That happens to be 0.6% of the population in San Diego, which to me is a
Right.
complete failure. Those
And
protests did nothing.
I would say at least 0.4% of that 0.6% was bussed in.
Yeah, yeah. I cannot argue against that, bro. We've seen it in the
Oh,
past, so what makes us believe that it wouldn't happen again? It's gonna happen. Yeah.
yeah, no, San Diego they're not anti-America.
No.
Trust me. Mm-mm.
Right. Right.
So, but yeah, so it was. I was going to say that Karl Marx is rolling over in his fiery grave as he's burning under the wrath of God for his evil and the sin that he committed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this one that you have here. You commented it would take the government 10 years to do this. And the actual repost that you posted on it says here a woman is left in total disbelief as a group of Amish built a barn that did not even exist at 7 a.m. At that morning and are nearly entirely finished by 4 p.m. that same day. Oh my goodness.
So what the Amish could build in a day it would take the government 10 years to do.
Yeah, look at that.
That's what
Look at
I'm
that,
saying.
bro.
Yeah.
Look at that. And look at how many of them. And all you can hear hammers. Clap, clap, clap,
Yeah.
clap, clap. Wow. Impressive.
Yeah. Pretty
You know
cool.
what? Gotta give it up for the Amish. They are hard workers, bro, and they come together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, their theology is messed up. Yes, they're
Yeah.
unbelievers. But guess what? When it comes to work ethic and in togetherness, unification, they're right there, bro. I mean, they look
Oh.
weird because they all wear the exact same thing, but anywho, that doesn't matter. That's beside the point. The point is, look at this. Proven. And now, if
Hey,
an Amish group can build a barn this fast, why does it take the government exactly 10 years to build something, to make something right? I don't get it. It's just,
and that's a testament what you can do when there's no regulation to hinder you.
yeah, yep, absolutely. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Supreme Leader is hiding. Let's see. War is coming. The truth of the matter is Netanyahu controls more senators in the state than Trump's does. You just said that, these oligarchs that are, yeah, he's got everybody confused, convinced pretty much. And the state Senate that, it's the right thing to do. We need to go to war. We need to destroy Iran. We need to destroy these people that are making our life miserable. When it's like, bro, come on. And probably that's my grinds my gears, brother. Just evangelicals just falling for it, not having an iota of understanding, completely ignore the Bible, the true biblical context, and they bank on everything taking place today. It's just you cannot look more silly
How
than you
many
do.
how many Christians in America actually spend the time to study the Bibles?
Yeah,
Play that one. This is really
thank
good.
you. Exactly. Yes, when you were finishing that up, I stopped here because I even saved it on my bookmark. So this is Virginia. I cannot pronounce her last name. Jeffries. I don't know. It's called "The Dead Man's Switch" released. I have been murdered. This is the real Epstein list. This is gonna blow your minds away, folks.
If you're watching this, it means they got me. My dead man switch activated automatically after I missed 2 scheduled check-ins. I had it set up months ago because I knew this day was coming. I did not die by
Pause this
accident. I was
moment.
murdered to keep their secrets.
Uh-huh.
Now, to explain dead man switch, because some people may not understand what that means. What she is saying is that she had shots. How did one person, the Fauci ouchie? I'll give that one. I'll give a certain former submariner, Navy submariner credit.
Fauci. Bro, that was funnier than your dad joke, let me tell you.
Well, I didn't come up. That's not an original from me. Somebody came up with that one, but I'm going to use it. She got the Fauci ouchie, right?
Yeah.
And she's saying that within that there was a dead man switch.
Hmm.
And of course, they have the technology to put things in there that could, if they send a signal, your heart stops, you have something go on with your brain, it drops you dead, right? This is what she's talking about. So go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up for those that don't know. And here we go.
Because I knew this day was coming. I did not die by accident. I was murdered to keep their secrets buried. My name is Virginia Louise Giuffre. I was one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. I survived Little St. James, but survival came at a price. I saw too much, knew too much, and now they've silenced me. But it's too late for them. They thought killing me would bury their secrets, but this video is going to a few organizations I trust, ones that have been exposing the truth for decades. You know who you are. It's your job to continue this fight. I was 16 when they reeled me in. I worked at Mar-a-Lago, folding towels, cleaning lockers. My father kept the tennis courts immaculate. We were just working folks trying to scrape by. Trump, he was around, but he was never the threat. The real predator was Ghislaine Maxwell, prim and proper, smiling, promising to teach me massage therapy at the Pink Mansion in Palm Beach. I had no idea I was being fed into a nightmare machine. Epstein's Island was hell disguised as paradise. You've heard some names linked to him, but those are just the sacrificial pawns. The real players, the ones they've protected at all costs, are still hiding in plain sight. I'll name two now. The first, a former US president, Barack Obama. Publicly, he's revered. Privately, he was one of the worst. He wasn't there for the girls. He was there for the island boys. Young boys, trafficked and groomed. I saw him more times than I can count, always without his Secret Service detail, sometimes with his Hollywood friends, George Clooney and Tom Hanks. I still have nightmares about them, arrogant and drunk on power, slinking into the cabanas with kids barely out of childhood. The second, Bill Gates, the billionaire philanthropist, loved by the media, hailed as a savior. We called him the benefactor, and we used to dread seeing him naked. But he didn't come to party. He came to experiment. Genetic experiments, human experiments. I saw him inject a young girl with something they said was a genetic enhancement. She was younger than me, strapped to a table, terrified, treated like a lab rat while they muttered about seeding the future of the species. These men think they are gods, playing with life like it was theirs to own. I'm telling you now, Epstein isn't dead. They staged his death because he was too valuable. He held blackmail on some of the most powerful people on earth. Files, videos, confessions. They couldn't risk him talking, but they also couldn't risk him gone, so they hid him. Stashed him under the protection of the same elite who once paid him to supply them with flesh. And they thought killing me would stop this from coming out. They were wrong, and there is so much more to come. Hidden servers, encrypted drives, witness testimonies. It's all going to hit the light. This video is just the first detonation. The data drops are timed and automatic. They are going to people who can make a difference, and nobody can stop it now. Not even the law enforcement agencies in the US and UK, the same ones that buried the evidence I handed them, can stop this truth from getting out. If you're watching this, you are the resistance. Don't let my death be just another headline. Burn their lies to the ground. Make the world see the monsters behind the masks. And to any survivors out there, don't give up. We're in this together. They can't kill us all. Make them pay.
Wow. You know, so funny, brother.
Let me correct something real quick. Dead man switch. Dead man switch also refers to this. If you kill me, I'll do the dead man switch, and I my recording will come out and you won't know where it came from.
Yeah. No, it's exactly what she said it was at the beginning. Once she is dead, this automatically goes out. It's all timed, it's all secure, it's all ready to go. And it
Right.
does that. What I find interesting that, this came out and 1 or 2 days later, I wish I would have saved that video. The hacking group, what is their name? They wear that V for Vendetta mask.
Yeah, anonymous.
Anonymous. They came out talking about, something coming in the near future regarding exposure. I wonder if it's connected with this. I wonder if that's who some of the evidence videos and all that went to, because Anonymous cannot be traced. Anonymous is anonymous for a reason. But that
Right.
they came out with that announcement, not I'd say probably the same day. So
This
I find that
this very
interesting.
well could be one of many.
Absolutely.
Head down to Tom Fenton real quick, and we're getting close to the end. But this is what he has to say. This is very, very encouraging. Go ahead.
Hey everyone, huge news. Judicial Watch lawsuits led to the cleanup of 4 million dirty names from the voting rolls in just the last 2 years or so. But there's more heavy lifting to be done for cleaner elections. That's why Judicial Watch just sued the state of Oregon to force it to finally clean up its voting rolls, which are a mess. Federal law requires states to take reasonable steps to clean up their voting rolls, and Oregon hasn't been doing that. In fact, our new lawsuit, just filed for and with the Constitution Party of Oregon and Oregon voters, details how 29 of Oregon's 36 counties removed few or no registrations as required by federal election law. Oregon and 35 of its counties had overall registration rates exceeding 100%. Frankly, Oregon has the highest known inactive registration rate of any state in the nation. Dirty voting rolls can mean dirty elections. Oregon, as I said, has some of the worst voting rolls in America and needs to clean them up as soon as possible. In the meantime, Judicial Watch has lawsuits to clean up voting rolls in California and in Illinois. Simply put, millions of ineligible names need to be removed from the voter rolls under federal law, and Judicial Watch has been, is, and will be in federal court making it happen.
Wow, that is good to hear. How bad do we need that in our states, brother?
We need it horribly bad. And the thing is that that's really good news. And also, the Democrat Party has lost all of
Yeah.
its funding. It's talking about borrowing money to stay alive. Can you go up a little bit there? You skipped over something I wanted to show you.
Oh,
Now, go
on
down,
this one?
go down to, yeah, it skipped for some reason. Do it again. Up, 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 back up to Tom Fenton. And
Oh,
just
okay. Wait. Sorry. I had skipped to the other X.
okay.
Okay, let me go back.
If you're watching this, it means they got me.
No, no. Where it says down below, below, go other
Hey everyone,
direction, other
huge
direction.
news.
Right here, stop. Now, another one bites the dust. Breaking. ICE has arrested New York City mayoral candidate Brad Lander for interfering with their operations. So these guys are going down. No, gone are the days of doing stuff like that and getting away with it. They're going down. And I believe
Sorry, I just played a little. I mean, he is being taken, brother. I mean, he
Yeah.
is.
So stand by, folks. The indictments are coming.
Yeah.
And I think people are going to be shocked at who's going to be indicted.
Yeah.
There's this guy got shot in the I guess in the eye or below the eye.
Yeah.
With a rubber bullet. Now here's what I said. And he was throwing he was a peaceful protester throwing a piece of this and a piece of that at the at federal agents. And he is I said he is fortunate to be alive. Throwing bricks and bottles at law enforcement is at least assault with a deadly weapon, if not
Uh-huh.
attempt murder. It justifies deadly force. It does justify deadly force. It's unfortunate an entire generation grew up without facing consequences for their actions. Now the consequences are more severe. Parents failed their children.
Ooh, that is huge. Yep, exactly, brother. You got to look into the way that kid was brought up,
Yeah.
in many ways. Obviously, some kids, after they leave home, they give into the secularism and their mind is completely thwarted and believe something completely that they were first taught. But, yeah. And if you see more evidence, brother, I saw a video of so these three individuals went to rob this house. They were trying to bash the door getting in there. Well, inside was a 11-year-old or 16-year-old. Can't remember his age. And his little sister. His parents were both finishing up work. So the kid, once he heard that, grabbed a gun and shot and ended up shooting one of them in the leg. They all ran. Guess what the family of this individual is doing? Now they're trying to sue this little kid and his family for too much force, deadly force use. And I'm like, did you see how animalistic they were trying to break down that door? And you got an 11-year-old kid inside with his little baby sister.
He's scared.
Yeah,
He's afraid that they're going to come in and kill him. He's scared.
exactly. And these parents of these criminals are crying wolf that their poor child, grown men that know best, got shot in the leg. And by the grace of God, he happens to still be alive. They're coming to sue that they were using too much force. Unbelievable, bro. This is what the world is coming
11-year-old
to.
is scared to death. He has a way to protect himself, and yeah, whatever. I hope they get a good judge and a good court that slams those guys for even. I hope they have to pay the lawyers' fees and everything else. That's just ridiculous. Now let me tell you, don't try that stuff in North Carolina.
You live in that type of state, right?
I live in North Carolina. If you go into someone's house
Uh-huh.
uninvited, deadly force is authorized.
Mm.
Whether if you break into their house, and the homeowner uses deadly force, there is no questions asked.
Oh, awesome. That's great.
There's not even a homicide investigation.
Yeah,
Nothing.
good, 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 good. In
Mhm.
California, we say you make sure they're dead. Just make sure they're dead.
California kind of has the retreat doctrine. You have to
Yeah,
try
yeah,
and retreat, and if you only use deadly force if you have no other option left and your
yeah,
life is in immediate danger.
yeah.
That's yeah.
Uh,
So,
Shameful,
but they can
shameful.
come and do anything they want.
Yep, yep, exactly. We got a minute and a half, brother. We covered a lot today. We got to the gist of what truly has been going on with this whole Israel Iran story, and I'm glad that we were able to bring perspective and a biblical context to all of this, and really determine who Israel was and if it is the true Israel of the Bible. With that said, you got about a minute to give us some closing thoughts before we close it out for today in this episode. Other than that, the floor is yours, my brother.
Well, I think we have sufficiently angered enough of America to have them storm the castle this week. So
Yep,
we will
yep.
repair the castle. We will repair the castle once it's been stormed, and we will be back next week to make another podcast that will sufficiently anger a whole bunch.
Oh, you froze.
I hope you love my dad jokes. Remember, don't forget, keep your mind sharp, your heart pure. We'll see you in the next podcast. God bless.
And we will definitely catch you on the flip side.